Yes, we have been hyperventilating about polls. How Biden is down in the polls, which speaks not too well for Democrats. Of course, recently we had the big wins in Virginia and these other places. So Democrats, the message is mixed. Biden is not liked. Biden is making himself even less liked as he hugs on Netanyahu, as he continues to support Netanyahu and the massacre Netanyahu is effecting in Gaza. He continues to hang on to him. So his poll numbers with the youth, people of color continue to tank. All right. If that wasn't bad enough, I think the absolute worst message that has come out this week is this story about Univision. I want you to listen to this and then we'll take it on the other side because there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this. But more importantly, we have to learn with what's occurring at Univision right now. We have to learn the Fox News analogy and where we failed in allowing Fox News to take the minds of many. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Before he was even elected president, for asking a question.
Okay, who's next? Yeah, please. Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down.
I have the right to ask the question.
Go back to Univision. Sit down, please.
And with those ideas...
You weren't called.
Trump looks over at his staff. A bodyguard walks over and ushers Ramos
Don't touch me, sir.
out of the news conference.
The journalist Trump had his security kick out from that press conference was Jorge Ramos, one of the most prominent Latino journalists in the country. Now, Ramos has conducted extended interviews with George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama. Jorge Ramos is a huge deal, but Donald Trump wanted nothing to do with him. Ramos repeatedly and publicly asked Trump to sit for an interview, and Trump not only declined, but he posted a photo online of a letter Ramos had sent him, claiming that Ramos and his employer Univision were begging him for an interview. Trump's relationship to Ramos and Univision stayed icy throughout his presidency. In 2020, the Trump campaign even put out this press release titled, "Univision is not a news network. It is a leftist propaganda machine and a mouthpiece of the Democrat Party." And that history is why it was so shocking last week when Univision had an hour-long interview with Donald Trump in which he was thrown softball questions like this one.
Talking about polls, the New York Times Siena poll came out this week. It has you with a solid lead in 5 of the 6 states that could decide the election, but it also has you with 42% of Latino voters' support. That's unprecedented for a Republican candidate. What do you think the message voters are sending with these numbers?
Now, the only thing weirder than asking, why are you doing so well with Latino voters, is probably Trump's response to that question.
Well, the Latino vote is so incredible because they're unbelievable people. They have incredible skills, incredible energy, and they're very entrepreneurial. All you have to do is look at the owners of Univision. They're unbelievable entrepreneurial people, and they like me.
Trump's praise of Univision and its owners was strange, but as more reporting has come out about this interview, things have gotten even stranger. Last week, Semaphore reported that 3 top executives at Univision and its new parent company, Televisa, were in the room during that interview with Trump. Now, that is not entirely crazy on its own. Sometimes executives just show up when high-profile interviews are happening. But this week, the Washington Post reports that that wasn't the only strange thing about that interview with Trump. According to the Post, Univision canceled a booking with President Biden's Hispanic media director, Maca Cascado, who is scheduled to respond to the Trump interview after it aired. And maybe most significantly of all, Univision canceled ads that had already been purchased by the Biden campaign and scheduled to run during the Trump interview. Univision told the Washington Post that its decision not to run those Biden ads came from an unannounced policy about opposition advertising in single candidate interviews, and that there would be no Trump advertising allowed if President Biden gave Univision an interview. So far, there is no planned interview with President Biden. And all week, we have been getting alarming stories alleging that Univision has been making editorial and business decisions that seem to directly benefit Donald Trump. And then tonight, just a few hours ago, one of the network's most prominent anchors, Leon Krause, announced that he has left the network. Now, we should say that Krause has not yet announced why he has left Univision, but the timing here, just a day after the Post's reporting about Univision shifting its approach to Donald Trump, that timing raises some questions, because beyond the ethics questions on the table here, Univision's audience matters a lot politically. Last year, Univision had the 7th biggest network audience in all of TV. It is the most watched Spanish language network in the United States. Univision is the channel of choice for a key demographic in this country, and one that seems increasingly up for grabs in the next election. If its executives really are shifting the network's approach to covering Trump, asking softball questions and not pushing back on Trump's lies, that could have a real impact on the 2024 election.
Now, this is important. Yes, Univision is probably edging its bets. Yes, Univision is probably one of those right-wing Latino type ownership. I don't know that for a fact, but the mere fact that you give Donald Trump an hour, the mere fact that you prevent advertising from the other side during the Donald Trump interview, it says something. It means that you are on board somehow. You're edging your bets in case he wins. I don't know, but I more think it has to do with new ownership. But that said, here is the thing. We lost, progressive lost, Democrats lost many a people to Fox News. And why is that? That is because Democrats of the past, and still the centrist Democrats of the present, they like to triangulate progressives. They triangulate the progressive values because they themselves aren't true progressives. And what does that mean? That means that they don't go all in with the middle class. They don't go all in with the poor. And in doing so, they've created a vacuum. And who filled that vacuum? Fox News. But Fox News filled that vacuum under the tutelage of the right-wing engine, the heritage foundations, the right-wing think tanks, the conservatives. But they had to add some more to the sauce because remember, they're not progressives. They're not there to give their constituency, the constituency that they're going to depend on to win. They're not going to give them anything of value. No tax breaks specific for you. No policies that that helps you take care of your kids. No policies that ensure that you have a living wage. No policies that make sure that you or just have a better life, a better income, whether that be a base salary or whatever, winning a living wage. They don't have that for you. So the secret sauce Fox News added to keep the people that it wants to keep, the ones that it has the ability to control their minds, is hate. So they preach the hate. But here's with Univision. Univision was your standard Latino station, Spanish station, that concentrated on telenovelas and what we used to call these type of shows like these variety-like shows, typical Latino type television programming. But now they've joined the fold. Fox News have created the model. If you have a population that you think you can get a large sect of them, that's what you do. And that's what Univision may be doing right now. But let's take it a bit further because it's not just Univision. Remember, I said that Fox News filled a vacuum that a triangulating centrist Democratic Party allowed it to create by not having the reinforcements to prevent, inoculate a group of Americans from being programmed by Fox News. Well, the same thing is happening in the Latino community. They are looking at the Latino community. And by the way, I partake these different communities because I'm a part of the Caribbean community. I'm a part of the Latino community. I'm a part of the Black community. So I share that in that interface with them all and can see how the operation is going. If you get onto TikTok right now, if you get onto TikTok and you look at a few Spanish videos, watch the messaging that come to you in Spanish. There are a lot of paid influencers now that are pushing Trump's message. I don't see too many paid Spanish influencers, Latino influencers, pushing a progressive message, but there are a lot of them on TikToks. Once you listen to some Spanish little telenovelas that they have on TikTok, short 2-episode, 5-minute a piece episode type telenovelas that are always very interesting, actually like them. But you take a look at them, you watch a few of them, and your TikTok, the algorithm starts to throw you Spanish politics and Latino type politics, etc. And I tell you what, I've even participated in some of the lives from some of these influencers that jump into my feed. So again, what the Trump folks, the conservative folks, the right-wing folks, the fascist folks are doing is they already have the internet seeded from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook. All those ads are there in Spanish. But you see, most people, most progressives aren't seeing that, right? Because they're seeing just that good English stuff. And it's just a fight between the Fox News kind of advertising and the ones that maybe a few of the centrists put out and the progressives. Folks, we're not doing our jobs. The Latino community is going to look just like the Fox News community if this message isn't heeded. I've been singing this song for over 10 years now, how the Democratic Party, with its elitist people, with the elite, when I say elitist people, I mean elitist consultants, don't know how to talk to these different identities that comprise that big melting pot that is the Democratic Party. And sad that because it is the centrists that controls the party, they have no clue, none whatsoever, in how to deal with the different demographics who yearn the progressive values. They've lost a large percentage of the Fox News voters. I mean, we're still trying to reach them. We're going to keep trying to reach them, but we would never have had to work this far if we had inoculated those brains away from the evil that is the right. Folks, we have the Fox News folks. The Latinos are next to be turned into the Fox News type voter. Mark my word, we better heed that warning, mitigate it now.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.